Welcome to this custom-tailored deep dive designed specifically for you.
Glad to be here for this one.
Yeah, we know you're exactly the kind of listener we like to call the learner. You know, someone who just loves gaining thorough, in-depth knowledge,
hmm
someone who thrives on those sudden aha moments, and really wants multiple perspectives without ever feeling bogged down by information overload.
Exactly. And we've got an incredible journey lined up today.
We really do. We're looking at a topic that honestly feels like a tense medical thriller, but it's entirely real. And it's unfolding right now on a massive global scale.
It's one of those subjects sitting right at the intersection of, human biology, global logistics, and cutting-edge medicine.
Right.
And while it impacts millions of lives, it rarely makes the front page of our daily news feeds. I mean, we're talking about a fundamental shift in how the world approaches a really ancient problem.
Yeah, we're diving into a fresh, fascinating look at how global health authorities are tackling one of the world's most widespread, yet somehow overlooked, medical emergencies.
Snakebites.
Snake bites. It's wild. Our guiding document for this deep dive is a single, highly impactful source. It's a news release from the World Health Organization.
Dated February 27, 2026.
Right, and the title of the release is New WHO Guidance on Novel Snakebite Treatments Published.
I'd say pay close attention to that word novel as we move through this discussion.
Novel.
Yeah, because the WHO isn't just releasing a minor administrative update on how things have always been done. They're signaling a massive pivot toward modern biotechnology.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission for this deep dive is threefold. First, we're going to decode a very specific piece of terminology from the WHO.
Something called a target product profile.
Right, or TPP.
Yeah.
Second, we need to truly understand the sheer staggering scale of the global snakebite crisis, just to see why this is so urgent.
hmm
And third, we're going to explore how early-stage drug developments might completely rewrite the rulebook on how we treat snake envenoming.
Both inside the hospital and, crucially, out in the wild before a patient even reaches a doctor.
Which is huge. And for you, the listener, the reason this matters goes far beyond just learning some trivia about snakes.
Oh, absolutely. This document is essentially a masterclass in how global health policies are forged.
Yeah.
It shows how setting the right parameters today can radically alter the landscape of human health tomorrow.
So let's start with the numbers provided in the WHO data because, well, this is where the reality of the situation hits hard.
It really does.
When we think of snake bites, we usually picture isolated incidents, right? Like a hiker in the desert or someone accidentally stepping on a snake in the woods.
Sure, that's the common perception.
But the scale detailed in this release is mind-blowing. We're talking about approximately 5.4 million people being bitten by snakes every single year.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, that figure transforms from a mere statistic into a profound global health crisis.
5.4 million.
Yeah, and the WHO release details the devastating outcomes that follow those bites. We're looking at between 83,000 and 138,000 deaths caused by snake bites annually. That is the equivalent of a small city wiped out every single year from something that is theoretically treatable.
Wait, let me make sure I'm wrapping my head around this math.
Sure.
If 5.4 million people are bitten, but around 138,000 die, what exactly is happening to the other 5 million plus people?
That's the real question.
Is the current conventional antivenom treatment just saving all of them perfectly, or is there a gap we aren't seeing here?
There is a massive gap, and the text makes a crucial point about it. Surviving a snakebite doesn't necessarily mean walking away unscathed.
Okay.
The release specifically notes that safe and effective antivenoms are urgently needed not just to prevent those deaths, but also to reduce the severity of serious disabilities.
Because the venom itself causes...
Severe tissue damage, amputations, and long-term physical impairments.
So we're not just talking about mortality.
Not at all.
Hmm.
The document explicitly points out that these severe disabilities impact many thousands more victims beyond the death toll.
Right.
When the WHO talks about the urgent need for new treatments, they're highlighting a massive ongoing clinical need for at-risk populations.
It's about quality of life.
Exactly. Preserving the quality of life for hundreds of thousands of individuals who are left permanently altered by these encounters.
Which brings us to the blueprint for a solution.
The TPPs.
Right. The WHO release centers around the publication of a first set of what they call target product profiles, or TPPs, specifically for the treatment of snake bites using novel therapeutics.
Right.
Now, as the learner, you're probably wondering what a target product profile actually does in the real world.
Well, based on the text, a TPP is a document providing researchers, regulators, and manufacturers with essential information.
Okay, like a guideline.
Sort of. Specifically, it outlines the minimum and optimum characteristics of potential treatments. You can think of it like a highly specific architectural blueprint for drug developers.
So it's spelling out the baseline of what a drug must do to be acceptable
Yes,
and the ideal standard of what it should do to be perfect.
that's the idea. If you're a pharmaceutical company, you don't want to spend years and millions of dollars developing a treatment, only to find out it doesn't meet the specific logistical or clinical needs of the population that actually requires it.
That makes sense.
The TPP ensures that what researchers build is safe, effective, and directly matched to those clinical needs from day one.
But the WHO isn't just issuing a TPP for the traditional antivenom we've used for decades, though.
No, they're not.
They're targeting what they call novel therapeutics. The document mentions that these treatments could be small molecule drugs or engineered antibody biologics.
Right.
Let's pause here because I need an ELI 5 explain like I'm 5. What do those terms actually mean in a practical sense compared to the conventional treatment?
Okay, let's look at the context. Traditional antivenoms, which have been the standard of care for over a century, are usually conventional products derived from animal plasma.
Right, like milking the snake and using horses or sheep.
Exactly. The implication in the text shift towards small molecule drugs and engineered antibody biologics is a leap into modern biotechnology.
Okay.
Small molecules are typical chemically synthesized drugs. Think of a standard pill or a simple injection that's highly stable.
Got it. And the biologics.
Engineered antibodies are lab-created proteins designed to bind to very specific targets, like venom toxins, with incredible precision.
So it's like upgrading from a massive analog switchboard to a highly efficient smartphone.
Precisely. The WHO is opening the door for modern biotech to solve an ancient problem. They're guiding the scientific community to look beyond the old methods and apply cutting-edge therapeutic technology to snake envenoming.
There's a fascinating historical context mentioned in the source that highlights how the WHO is trying to bridge a major global equity gap with this new tech.
Right, because this document doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Exactly. The 2026 document notes these new TPPs actually complement equivalent documents published previously in 2023 and 2024.
But there's a catch with those older documents.
What is it?
The 2023 and 2024 TPPs were specifically for conventional antivenoms intended for the sub-Saharan Africa and South Asian markets.
Oh, I see. So if the 2023 and 2024 guidelines were focused on conventional antivenoms limited to specific geographical regions, what's the core focus of this new 2026 release?
Timeline and technology. The previous TPPs were primarily aimed at improving conventional antivenom products that are already on the market.
Fixing what we already have.
Exactly. They were about raising the standard for what we currently have in those specific regions. But this new 2026 guidance is focused squarely on the future. It's aimed at products in early-stage drug development and in clinical trials on a global scale.
It's shifting from patching up the present to inventing the future.
Well said.
And the release states that by making all three of these documents, the new one and the two previous ones, as similar as possible, the WHO hopes to engender greater global equity in the antivenom market.
That procedural alignment is a brilliant regulatory strategy.
Yes.
If the baseline requirements for safety and efficacy are globally aligned, it incentivizes manufacturers to create products that can be deployed worldwide rather than fragmenting the market with different standards for different regions.
Right.
It levels the playing field for the patients who need these life-saving drugs the most, regardless of where they live.
Here's where it gets really interesting. We've been talking about this new guidance as one broad concept, but the WHO actually released two distinct TPPs within this initiative designed for completely different clinical settings.
This is a huge detail.
And both of these new TPPs share one characteristic that honestly sounds like science fiction. They're designed for treatments meant to combat bites from any species of venomous snake.
That detail alone is revolutionary for the logistics of treating snake bites.
Let me play the layman here. Normally, if I get bitten by a cobra, I need cobra antivenom. If I get bitten by a viper, I need viper antivenom.
That's right.
Are you saying this document is asking scientists to build a skeleton key that works on both?
That's exactly the implication of a treatment effective against any species of venomous snake. Historically, as you noted, antivenoms are often highly species-specific.
Yeah.
A universal treatment, your skeleton key, would completely transform how these emergencies are handled. It removes the deadly guesswork of trying to identify the snake that just bit you.
That is wild.
Mm.
Let's look at the first of these two new TPPs. The first one is for therapeutics to be used in a hospital setting. The text notes that currently, conventional antivenoms are all used in hospitals.
Because conventional antivenom administration often requires a controlled clinical environment.
Right, due to allergic reactions and things.
Exactly. With this new TPP for the hospital setting, the WHO outlines that any new novel treatment could act as an adjunct to treatment with a conventional antivenom.
Meaning it could be an addition or a supplement to the traditional treatment?
Right. Or, and this is a massive leap forward, it could replace it entirely.
Replace it.
Yes. The possibility of replacing conventional antivenom in the hospital setting with a small molecule drug or an engineered antibody biologic implies a future where hospital treatments are universally effective regardless of the snake species.
If TPP-1 is a massive leap forward, TPP-2 is a complete paradigm shift.
What's fascinating here is the environment TPP-2 targets. It's for products to be used in a post-snakebite pre-hospital setting.
Pre-hospital, we're talking about the critical minutes and hours right after the bite occurs.
Exactly.
When you consider that many of these 5.4 million bites happen to agricultural workers or people living in remote rural communities, those minutes are everything.
The release breaks down two distinct massive implications for this pre-hospital TPP. The first is that a pre-hospital therapeutic could buy time.
By time.
It could stabilize the victim enough to allow them to survive the long, often difficult journey to a hospital where they can receive conventional treatment.
Buying time is critical. But the second implication the WHO mentions is even more mind-blowing. They state that these products could be used for abrogating the need to go to hospital at all.
Eliminating the need entirely.
That's insane.
Imagine a scenario where a novel drug completely neutralizes the venom on the spot. No need for a dangerous, desperate rush to a distant medical facility.
Yeah.
No risk of the severe disabilities that occur when treatment is delayed by hours of travel. It's a complete reimagining of the emergency response for envenoming.
It's truly incredible to think about the real-world impact of that. And it's important to remember these massive global health initiatives are driven by real people.
Very true.
The release actually includes a media contact detail highlighting Dr. Abila Ritter Bernadette, the team leader at the World Health Organization. It grounds this vast, sweeping policy document in the reality of the dedicated teams pushing this work forward every single day.
It reminds us that behind every broad policy, there are researchers and public health officials working tirelessly to draft the blueprints that will eventually save lives.
Absolutely.
The publication of these TPPs is a testament to their commitment to solving one of the world's most neglected public health crises.
So, what does this all mean for you? We've covered a lot of ground today. From the 5.4 million annual snake bites to the intricacies of engineered antibodies and the push for global equity.
To synthesize the core takeaway, the World Health Organization is actively shaping the future of medicine. By publishing a clear, equitable blueprint for early-stage novel therapeutics, they're intentionally moving away from regional conventional fixes.
We're going big.
They are laying the groundwork for universal solutions that could save hundreds of thousands of lives and prevent countless severe disabilities.
It's a profound shift from just managing a crisis to fundamentally solving it. Which leads us to a final thought for you to mull over. We talked heavily about that second TPP, the pre-hospital setting. Think about this. If engineered antibodies and small molecule drugs do eventually eliminate the need for hospital visits after a snake bite entirely. Wait, I shouldn't say it like that.
No, okay, it's a great point.
If they do eliminate that need entirely, how might this pre-hospital approach revolutionize the way we build healthcare infrastructure and distribute emergency medicines in the world's most remote rural regions?
That's the real question.
Right. If we can treat a deadly snake bite right out in the field, what other medical emergencies might we soon be able to resolve without ever stepping foot inside a hospital ward?
It's a thrilling prospect.
Yeah.
And exactly the kind of ripple effect that makes studying these policies so deeply rewarding.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. As the learner, your curiosity is what makes exploring these complex topics so enjoyable. We love unpacking these incredible developments with you, and we promise to bring you even more fascinating insights in our next exploration. Keep asking questions, keep looking at the bigger picture, and we'll catch you next time.